Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to discuss the remaining concepts of the chapter called as organization. So in the previous class, we discussed about the meaning of organization. Also, we have discussed about the nature of organization and importance of organization, which we will be discussing today in this particular class. So the concept organization, as I said you, it is a one which deals with the structure wherein all the employees will be put together in order to complete the objective successfully. Each and every organization will be of different types. Like there might be a public sector or government sector, as I said you earlier. Each and every organization will be having their own specific objective, and those objectives can be achieved by utilizing all the resources which are available in the organization. If the resources are more and the employees are less, then the organization cannot achieve the objective easily. If the resources are less and our employees are more, then the objective cannot achieve success. It must be well balanced. Any organization that you take, each and every organization, based upon the requirement of the work and based upon the objectives that has to be achieved, there must be a proper balance between the employees and the resources of a specific organization, and this has to be taken care by the entrepreneurs as well as the managers of the organization, so that the employees who are working under them can utilize those resources properly and they can achieve the objective of the organization and they can lead that particular organization to the higher positions. So the next concept in this particular chapter here is purpose of organization. See, purpose of organization is also called as importance of organization. So any organization that you take, as I said you earlier, each and every organization forms a structure. Without a structure of an organization, it's impossible for us to design and develop or define the objective of an organization. Each and every organization will be having their own specific structure. Based upon the structure of the organization, the objectives will be defined. Based upon the objectives which has been defined, we will be planning and organizing all the resources which are required for performing a specific task in the organization. So here there are six different criteria which they have defined in order to represent the organization is one of the most important criteria in order to define the objectives. Well, the first one here is to facilitate pattern of communication. So what is this pattern of communication speaks about? Pattern of communication is nothing but it is a one which is going to provide you the design of to whom you have to be in contact with while you are working, and what is the work that you are carrying out, and who will be suggesting you the work. It is nothing but, like for example, if we have a problem with any of the subject, let us say management and entrepreneurship, we have some doubts related to management and entrepreneurship, to whom you have to communicate. You are the students and we are the teachers, right? So if we are having a problem or if we are having some doubts related to a management chapter, then to whom you have to communicate? That is my question to you. To whom you will be communicating with? Yes? Please answer. Unmute yourself and answer me. If we are having a problem with the chapter, or if you are having some doubts related to a chapter called as management, to whom you are going to communicate?
You want to
You will be communicating to the specific subject teacher to whom have been allocated. The subject has been allocated to a specific teacher, and to that particular teacher the students will be communicating if they are having any problem with that particular subject related doubts. Yes or no? That is one pattern of communication which has been designed for between the student and the teacher for a specific subject which is called as management and entrepreneurship. Similarly, there is another way of pattern. One is the teaching of a specific teacher of a particular subject called as M&E is not good and appropriate, and students are not able to understand the concepts at all. If the students are not able to understand the concepts, and if they are feeling very difficult in order to digest that particular subject, then what is the pattern of communication between the students and the department? If you are not able to understand my concepts, if you are not able to understand my teaching at all, then there will be a problem for you. It will be a problem for you, isn't it? So, to whom you have to communicate?
The head of the department, sir.
You will be communicating to the head of the department saying that this is the subject which we are not able to understand, and please help us by changing the concerned faculty of a specific subject called as MND, isn't it? So this is another pattern. Third way of pattern. Third way of pattern. You must pay the fees of a particular college, of my college, and you are having some problem. You can't pay the fees within the deadline which has been given by the college. So you have to take the permission from a specific person. So to whom you will be contacting? Whether you will contact a specific teacher of a particular subject, or whether you will be contacting HOD, or whether you will be contacting a principal or management.
Principal, sir.
You will be contacting to the principal saying that, sir, this is the problem which I am facing. Within another few days, I will be paying the fees. So this is what the pattern of communication speaks about. It is the one which specifies who have to contact to whom if you are facing any problem in terms of any activity, or like any, whether it may be related to your work or whether it may be related to anything else. If a student or a teacher, if a student is facing any problem, or if the student wants to speak about something to anyone, then there will be certain pattern of communication which will be designed by the organization. Organization structure is the one which provides an idea to the employees of the organization to know who is their higher authority and to whom they have to contact when they are having certain problems or certain issues related to the organization. So communication link is one of the major important asset of the organization. Without communication, we can't perform any task. We can't perform any task, even if it is a small, or whether it is a small task or big task. Without a proper communication link between each and every employee, it's very difficult for us to perform a specific operation. So, if in order to have a very good communication link between the employees and the managers as well as the higher authority people, each and every organization will be designing their own particular structure of pattern, where if employee 1 is facing a problem, to whom they have to contact. If employee 2 is facing a problem, then to whom they have to contact. So this is what the activity which they have to carry out in terms of an organization. In order to carry out this particular communication pattern, who is going to design this particular pattern is the organization manager as well as the entrepreneur is going to design this particular pattern by representing this is the employee who has to contact, is an employee who has to contact to a specific person who acts as a manager for his particular team. So that is what the pattern speaks about. That is what the first point indicates. Whereas the second point here is it allocates authority and responsibility. As I said you earlier in the previous classes also, authority without responsibility is nothing but an what? Authority without responsibility is nothing but, and it is like an empty vessel. Responsibility without authority is very dangerous. Responsibility without authority is very dangerous. So allocating authority and responsibility to each and every employee of a specific organization plays a vital role in the organization. To whom we have to designate a junior software engineer, to whom we have to designate a senior software engineer, to whom we have to designate as a team leader, to whom we have to designate as a manager of the particular team, to whom we have to designate as a finance manager, and so on, has to be decided based upon the structure of the organization by the higher authority people who will be at top level management team, who will be at the top level. Okay, so whenever we are going to allocate the authority and responsibility, allocating the authority and responsibility is not a simple task. It is a task which is dependent based upon the employee's ability. Based upon the employee's ability. I can't give the designation of lecturer to the sweeper. I can't give the designation of lecturer to the attender. I can't give designation of assistant professor to the one who doesn't know how to teach the students. We must know that, right? We must identify the ability of the employee or the person who comes to me asking for a job. I have to identify the ability. What is this ability? How can he manage the things in the organization? And what is the process that I can carry out in order to recruit that particular employee for a specific designation? So that has to be identified without think about how to allocate the authority and responsibility. And once you allocate the authority and responsibility to the employees of the organization, it indicates that who will come under whom and what is the responsibility of those employees. Responsibilities will be known to us as an employees, and we will be having an idea that these are the persons who comes under us, these are the person who comes above us. Once we come to know about all these particular activities, it will be easy for me to have a very good group and help me to achieve whatever the work that has been assigned to me. That is what this authority and responsibility speaks about. Whereas the third one is to locate decision centers. What these decision centers are nothing but? Decision centers are nothing but meeting halls. We can't do meeting wherever we like in the organization, isn't it? We can't go and do a meeting in some places, in any places. Meeting is nothing but there are two types of meetings. One is closed meeting and the other one is open meeting. All this particular process, meeting process, contains some meetings contains confidential, some meetings contains non-confidential matters. Non-confidential matters will be discussed in the open meeting, whereas confidential matters will be discussed in the closed meeting. In order to perform this type of operations, meeting operations, we need one particular decision center room where we call it as meeting hall. We call it as meeting hall. If there is a some confidential issue which has been raised in a specific department or a specific team, then they have to come to the decision centers and they have to discuss about the issues that has been raised, and they have to finalize what is the problem and what is the solution for it. Similarly, if I want to promote, if our faculties want to promote some faculty of a particular department, then they have to do a meeting in a decision centers where we call it as a meeting hall, where that particular meeting hall contains some confidential matters related to the decision which they can take whether I can promote this employee or not based upon the achievements which has been achieved by him in the previous classes, in the previous years. So all this particular process, in order to carry out all this particular process, we require one specific decision center in a specific organization, where that particular decision center has to be allocated in the organization structure. Without decision center halls or without decision center meeting, there is no organization at all. If we have to design the organization in such a way that it must contain some place for employees to sit and work, and some place for meeting, some place for higher authority people, like we have to design that particular organization. Organization structure must be designed in such a way that it must contain everything. Similarly, to locate, decision center speaks about the organization structure has to identify and locate one specific decision center for an organization which helps the employees to take certain decisions, whether it may be related to confidential or whether it may be related to non-confidential matters. If I have something to speak about, then everyone must go towards the decision center, and I will be speaking, and they will be providing me the suggestions. So those are the things which we can carry out using this particular decision centers. Whereas the third one is to create a proper balance. As I said you, employees are more, resources are less. It is an improper balance. Resources are more, employees are less. Then it is an improper balance. Resources and employees are in a proper balanced manner, or both are same, both are equal. Then it is in a proper balanced aspect. So creating a proper balance based, whether it may be based upon the resources or whether it may be related to the manpower or whether it may be related to the work division of work. Each and everything has to be carried out perfectly in order to create a proper balance. There must not be any sort of issue that can rise in the organization when it comes to the division of work. If they divide the work in such a way that if it contains some partiality in terms of dividing the works, some employees will be getting more work and some employees will be getting less work and some employees will be getting no work at all. If this is the case, then there will be some sort of disturbances which can come into the organization. When this type of disturbances comes into the organization, then the employees who have got more work may not work properly, thinking about the one who is not working at all. Similarly, employee 2 may not work thinking that the other people is not working and I am working. That is more than enough. Whatever that I work, that is more than enough for it. They can't think much about how can I achieve this particular work which has been assigned to me. Why? Because there is no proper balance. The other people is sitting and eating. Nowadays we are very much addicted towards sitting and eating. We don't want to work anymore. We don't want to do any sort of hard work or smart works. Instead, we want some crores together in order to enjoy our life. That is what the mentality which has been fixed in our mind in today's generation, isn't it? So, without a work, without working, we can't get even a single rupee. If I want to earn something, then there must be some sort of work which has to be done by me in order to earn even a single rupee. So work culture is very much important here. Irrespective of whatever the work that has been assigned to me, whether it is a big work or small work which has been assigned to me, we must be ready to work and we must show the talent of us. Irrespective of what, we must not think about others. If we think about others, then it's very difficult for us to perform any sort of operations and we can't achieve our success. Whether the other persons are working or not, whatever the work that has been allocated to me from the head of the department, I have to complete that particular work and I have to submit that particular work to a specific person who have allocated that particular work to me. So that is what the process that has to be carried out when it comes to the employee's point of view. Even tomorrow, if you become an employee in any of the organization, whether it is a large organization or small organization, if they give you more work, then you have to think that others are not capable of doing that work and I am capable of doing that particular work, and they have identified me as one of the best worker of that particular team. And you have to think in that way and you have to take that particular work and you have to achieve the success of that particular work. Then only you will be identified as one of the best employee of the organization. If you disturb yourself thinking about others will not feed us. Instead, the organization is going to feed us. Isn't it? We must do something to the organization. That is the mentality which we must develop in ourselves. Instead, we must not think anything about the workload as well as the money which we are going to get. Without thinking about it, if you work hard on the work which has been assigned to you in a proper manner, then you can achieve the success within a short period of time compared to the others who are working with you, whether they are seniors or juniors or whatever it may be. So when it comes to the proper balance, the organization, when it comes to our topic, to create a proper balance indicates what? It is a one where we must balance the resources as well as the employees, and the workload of all the employees must be divided in a proper manner and effectively. Then only the workers can work effectively and they can achieve that particular objective of a specific task which has been assigned to us will be achieved in a proper manner. So that is what the proper balance speaks about. Whereas the fifth point is to stimulate creativity. Creativity is nothing but innovations. Innovations. See, any strong organization that you take, each and every organization will be thinking something new in order to develop a particular product which is not existing into the market. So whenever we are thinking about innovative ideas of developing the products which are not present in the market and which is more helpful for the market, then that particular organization can grow faster and they can achieve the success within a fraction of period of time. Without innovative ideas, if my organization, for example, myself, I am working for a particular project and that particular project is given by someone else, it is already existing. So that is not an innovative thing. Bringing some new innovative ideas and developing a new product and developing a new methodology with a new algorithm is one which provides you more weightage than anything else. So when it comes to the strong organization, each and every strong organization, they will be providing an opportunity to all the employees to come up with some new ideas in order to develop a new products into the market, develop a new products and sell it into the market. But when it comes to the weak organization doesn't think much about innovative ideas. Instead, they will be dependent on other companies who are providing the work to them. Weak organization are dependent on strong organization. Strong organization will be giving some sort of work which is related to that particular organization to them, and this weak organization, they will work on it and they will submit that particular work back to the strong organization and they will be paid for that particular work. But when it comes to the weak organization, if you think about some new and innovative idea and if you develop a product and if you try to sell it into the market, if that particular product doesn't get sale, and if that particular product brings some loss to the organization, brings a loss to the weak organization, then that organization may get shut down. So this is what the weak organization will be afraid of. But the strong organization, they will be economically strong, and at the same time they will be having a very good background capability. Even if there is a loss, then they will try to embed something else and they will try to achieve the profit and overcome that particular loss by doing some other work related to other products. So creativity is the one which is majorly dependent on strong organization, where the strong organizations will provide an opportunity to each and every employee to come up with some new ideas in order to develop a new products and sell it into the market which is not existing into the market. Whereas the sixth one is to encourage growth. Now you tell me how an employee can grow faster. Growth of the organization is dependent upon the growth of the employee. Growth of the organization, any organization that you take, is dependent on the growth of the employee. When it comes to the point of you as an employee, what you expect from the organization to grow faster? I want to grow faster. So what is my expectation from the organization? Understood the question, everyone? Yes or no? Yes? Pooja U. Joshi, Neha. Chandana,
By showing their talents, sir.
that's what you have to showcase your talent, and you have to showcasing the talent is one small aspect of growth. In order to showcase your talent, what is the expectation of you from the organization?
Sir, they should provide us some tasks, sir.
They should provide us some task. Okay, fine. Then
Sir, Sir, they should have proper communication with us, sir.
it proper communication. Fine. Then next, others. Please speak. Only Anvita and only 2 or 3 students are active here. I am not getting answers from boys and also. Vaibhav, Jayant,
Work we do, some appreciation should be given, sir.
pardon?
After the work we do, the task we complete, some appreciation should be given to us.
Appreciation. That is nothing but it is nothing but we can say it as some extra revenue to the employee, saying that this is the incentive for the work which you have carried out, or it may be related to the awards, best employee of a specific year. Like these are the things which will help them to enrich themselves and motivate themselves in order to move further. See, when it comes to the growth point of view of an organization, the growth of an organization is dependent on the growth of the employees, is dependent on the growth of the employees. Growth of the employee is dependent on the flexibility of the organization. Flexibility of the organization. If the organization provides some flexibility to the employees to work in a proper manner and to work according to the needs of the employees, then there will be some flexibility. Like for example, there will be some organization which they will ask them to work from morning 9 o'clock to evening 8 o'clock without moving from their chair. Morning to evening. They must not go anywhere. They must not go for a coffee or a tea. They must not go for having some snacks or anything during the working time. If this is the case, then those type of organization is called as inflexible organization. Inflexible organizations are those which will not provide some sort of relaxation to the employees when they are working with. If those organization doesn't provide some relaxation to the employees during the work period, then that particular organization may not expect growth from the growth faster. Why? Because they will be fed up. Will you study 8 hours continuously without any disturbance? No mobile, no any other extra activities which is related to your daily life, just study. If this is the case, what is going to happen in terms of your studies? Yes? Will you work for 8 hours which is related to your studies? With
No, sir.
any other activity, you must not touch your mobile, you must not have a discussion with your parents, you must not come out of your room at all, you must not take some sort of rest at all. Is it possible?
No, sir.
But my parents asked me to study 8 hours without any disturbances, but I will sit for a study 8 hours. If I am sitting for 8 hours without any other relaxation mode, then what is going to happen? Can I achieve the success of that particular study objective successfully?
For some point of view, we get success, sir.
Yes or no? So, growth of the organization is indirectly dependent on growth of the employee, and the growth of the employee can be expectable only if there is some sort of flexibility to the employees to work according to their needs. Some sort of flexibility. Okay, so if the organization structure framework, in the organization structure framework, if we have the flexibility in the organization structure, then the employees growth can be faster, and the as soon as the employees growth is faster, employees growth in the sense is not in terms of weight and height of a people, it is in terms of the working culture of the employee, how they work, what they do, what is the achievement of them today. And in order to achieve this complete task, he may will he complete that particular task within the period of time which has been given by me or not, can be identified by the employer, by the higher authority people, based upon how he is working and what he is working and what is the relaxation time of that particular employee which we can give, and everything will be managed in a proper manner. So if this is the case, then the growth of the organization will be faster, because the growth of the employees will be faster. Growth of the employees in terms of achieving some task in a proper manner within the time bound period with low cost is one of the effective thing which has to be done by the employees of any organization. So if these three criteria are met by the employees, then the growth of the employee will be faster and the growth of the organization will be faster. So this is what about the sixth point here. Okay, so and this is what about the importance of organization. Importance of organization is dependent on the pattern of communication that has to be designed by the organization. It depends upon how you are going to allocate the authority and responsibility to each and every employee of the organization based upon the ability, and where you are going to locate the decision centers, and why we use this particular decision center to perform the various meetings which are related to the organization, whether it may be a confidential matters or non-confidential matters. Whereas the fourth point is to create a proper balance in terms of work, in terms of resources, and in terms of manpower. Whereas stimulate creativity, it depends upon the strong organization, where strong organization will be providing some sort of flexibility for the employees to think ahead about some new ideas and new innovative things, wherein they can bring some new innovative products into the market. Whereas the encouraged growth is indirectly dependent on the growth of the employee, and this growth of the employee is dependent on the flexibility of the organization. If the organization is provided with some sort of flexibility to the employees, then the employees can relax themselves and they can work on that particular objective, and they can complete that particular task within the time period, and within the time period which has been given to them, with low cost, with more effective results. Okay, so this is what about the purpose of organization. So any doubts in this? Yes? Any doubts, or shall we move further?
No doubts, sir.
Okay, shall we move further?
No doubt, sir.
Okay, fine. So the next concept here is,
Yes, sir.
next concept here is meaning of staffing. What is staffing here? See, staffing is one which is majorly dependent on recruiting the manpower to the organization. Recruiting the manpower to the organization is nothing but we are going to bring the manpower to the organization based upon the need of the organization. Earlier in the previous days, staffing was considered as one of the part of management skills. There are 4 different management skills, isn't it? One is planning, organizing, actuating, and controlling. Earlier, staffing was also one of the part of management skills. Earlier it was something like planning, organizing, staffing, actuating, and controlling. Earlier we were having 6 different parts of management which was designed by George. Now staffing is not considered as one of the management skill. Instead it is considered as one of the separate function of management. It is considered as one of the separate function of management, and this particular staffing process helps you to determine the manpower of the enterprise. How many employees are required for my organization in order to complete a specific task. So this particular staffing is a process which helps you to identify the number of employees requirement, the number of employees who are present in the organization right now, and the number of employees required for the organization can be identified by taking the support of this particular word, which is called as staffing. Staffing helps you to identify the number of employees required, and based upon that we are going to perform certain activities. Determining the manpower requirement of the enterprise and providing an adequate people at all levels, providing an most effective employees to the organization at all the levels, starting from top level management to the low level management. And this particular staffing process functions various operations. First one is, it will identify the manpower requirement. Based upon that, they will plan what is the requirement of the employees. Like what is manpower? There are different types of manpower requirement in the organization. One is, it may be related to the freshers, it may be related to 10 years experience, it may be related to 20 years experience for a software engineers, or it may be related to labor's requirement for an organization, or it may be related to attendants and peons for a particular organization. Based upon the requirement of manpower, they will plan what must be the criteria that has to be fixed in order to recruit a specific employee which has been identified by us. For example, my requirement from my organization requirement is, we are in need of peons, attenders and laborers for the organization. So for that, we can't fix up the criteria of he must be a graduate, isn't it? Yes or no? Can we fix up the criteria of graduate for peon, attender and laborers?
No, sir.
No. So what must be the criteria for laborers? That has to be fixed by the organization.
Work skills, sir.
Work skill, and at least he must be passed in at least 10th standard SSLC. Why? Because he must be able to read and write the letters which is required for the department or which is required for the organization. He must be able to read the things. So that is what the criteria is. So once you plan the criteria, then we will call for the recruitment process. Calling for a recruitment process are of different types. One is, you can publish that particular recruitment process in a newspaper or television by providing some advertisement, or through pamphlets, or by recommending some employees who are working in some other organization to bring them towards our organization. There are different ways of recruitment process which we can carry out, which we will be discussing in the next class. What is recruitment process? What are the different types of recruitment process which are available for us? So recruitment process is nothing but recruiting the employees, providing the advertisement and asking them to come to providing the advertisement to the through different modes, and taking the resume of each and every one who are interested to come into our organization. Once we get that particular resumes, what we will be doing is, we will be sorting those resumes based upon the number of employees who are needed for us. I got thousands of resumes. Out of 1,000, I require only 10 employees. So I have to identify those 10 employees by reading the resume of each and every one who have applied for that particular job. So identifying the best employee to the organization is majorly dependent on the resume, how you have prepared, what is the skills that you have mentioned, and what are the achievements that you have done. Everything, the resume acts as your first phase of thinking about what you might be. So all this particular process will be carried out in this particular recruitment process. Once they identify the 10, they will be identifying their need is 10. So they will be identifying some 25 members and they will be asking them to come for an interview. So coming for an interview, once they come for an interview, selecting the best qualified employees who seeks for a specific job is the third step, which we will be carrying out in terms of staffing. Once we select the employees, 10 employees, we will train them, we will ask them, this is what, as an attender, your role is so and so, and you must be present in this particular place from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and this is what the things that you have to do. You must help the concerned staff of a particular organization. At the same time, you must be with our HOD in order to bring some sort of things which is majorly required from office to the HOD's chamber or HOD's chamber to office chamber and so on. There are some criteria which we will be fixing with. So we will be training them and we will be asking them, this is how you have to work with. Once we train and develop them, then we will be providing some appraisals and compensation based upon the work which has been done by the employee of a specific organization. So these are the 5 different criteria which will be set for a staffing process. Majorly keep in mind that staffing is a process. Staffing is a process which is used for identifying the requirement of manpower and selecting the employees to the organization who are best suitable for the organization for a specific designations. And this is what about the meaning of staffing process. And the next, as I said to you, here the recruitment process is broadly divided into 2 types. One is internal source and the other one is external source. What is internal source here? Internal source is nothing but it is a one which is a process which is involved within the organization. Whatever the process that you are going to carry out inside the organization is called as internal operation. And this internal operation is nothing but a process which you are going to carry out inside the organization is called as internal operation. So here internal sources are nothing but the process of transfer and promotion operation which takes place inside the organization is called as internal source. What is transfer here? Transferring the employee from one branch to other branch of same company is called as transferring process. Promoting the employee from one designation to other designation is called as promoting process. So transferring and promoting, these are the 2 important processes which will be carried out internally within the organization among the employees who are present in the organization. It is nothing but, as I said, transferring is nothing but shifting from one place to the other place, from one branch to the other branch, whereas promotion is nothing but promoting the employees of the organization who are already present based upon the work from one designation to the other higher designation. This is what the process which will be carried out in terms of internal sources. Whereas external sources, it deals with all these different types of operations. One is direct recruitment process, second one is unsolicited applications, fourth one is advertising, fifth one is employment agencies, then educational institutes, labor contract and recommendations. Okay, now my question to you is, I have one small assignment here which I won't be discussing about this with you. Instead, I want you to discuss with me. Okay, in the next class, external sources. Every time if I discuss, I think that doesn't make sense, and I think you may not be able to learn more than what I am expecting with. Okay, so these are the points which I will be giving to you for you as an assignment, where you have to explain, all of you have to explain what this particular direct recruitment process is, unsolicited application is, advertising is, employment agency is, educational institution, labor contract and recommendation in the next class by sharing your slides. All the students must be ready with your slides. And you must, if you are not having laptop or a system with you, then not an issue. You can write on the paper and you can showcase that particular paper by using your camera of your mobile, and you can explain the things. But compulsory, you have to explain what this direct recruitment process is, unsolicited application is, advertising is, employment agency is, educational institute is, labor contract is recommended. How this particular process is going to carry out in order to recruit an employee to a particular organization is a major important assignment which I am going to give you for the next class. You must be ready for the next class, and next class I won't be discussing anything. Instead, you will be discussing and you will be trying to teach me what actually this particular process is. Okay? Understood everyone?
Yes, sir.
Will you do it? Yes?
Yes, sir.
I have shared you the notes. You can use any other resources which is required for you, and you have to identify the definitions for this with an example. With an example for each, and I don't want you to read whatever that is present in the notes. Instead, I want an example for all this. Simple example, 2 to 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes, each and every student must give a presentation. Okay? And don't remain absent for the class. If you remain absent for the class, I won't be allowing you for the next upcoming classes. Whatever that you know, just tell me. Irrespective of language which you use, whether you use Kannada or whether you use English or whether you use Telugu, that is not a matter for me. Instead, I want an answer from your end. Sir, I am poor in English. Nobody is poor here. Nobody is poor. Everyone is having their own particular talent. Identify your talent on your own. We can't identify your talent. What is your ambition and what is your talent is. You must identify what you are capable of, and you have to work according to that, irrespective of what language that you choose to speak about any concept. Okay, so I want each and every student to give me a brief idea about what these particular points are meant for. I don't know anything about this. Okay, I want to learn something from my students on these particular points, external sources. Okay, if you want, you can take down that particular points, or else you have that particular, I've shared you the notes, right? In that particular notes, you have the complete description of it. Read that particular description, design your own example, and come back to me in the next class and explain me what actually it is. And this particular process carries 10 points as your assessment. 10 points I will be crediting to your account as your assessment marks or assessment points, which will be acting as a more important criteria while finalizing your marks. Okay, so come up with so all the solutions for all these particular points, and try to make me to understand what actually these particular points are meant for. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So this is what about the meaning of staffing and types of staffing is, and in the next class we shall start discussing about the next chapter, which is called as directing and staffing, which is a module 2. Okay, next class, once I complete with the process of assessment of in the next class, after that particular class, next I will be starting with module 2. Okay, for module 2 we doesn't require much time. Why? Because the number of concepts are very less there. I think it may take something around 6 to 7 classes, and we can complete that particular task easily. Okay, so this is what about today's class is. Okay, in the next class we will be going ahead with the assessment, and after that particular class we will be moving further with module 2. Okay, so any other any problem or any sort of issues that related to my subject, you can inform me well in advance right now. Are you able to understand all the concepts which I have taught you from first class to this particular class? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No problem. No doubts.
No,
If you have any doubts, you can ping me back anytime. But don't sit idle. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Then shall we stop the process of class today, or is there anything else that you want to discuss about? And all the students, my request to you is, all the
Yes, sir.
students, please give the feedback of all the staff once you complete with your class. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So shall we wind up the class now?
Sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you then. Meet you in the next class with the assessment.
Thank you, sir.